The fastest cooking XP in the game isn't wine or primal dishes like many people think. It's not arc soups, sushi, or even 3-tick cooking. In fact, it's a method so old it predates the release of Runescape 2. In old school Runescape, it's possible to do 1-tick cooking, giving rates of over 1 million base XP per hour. Since the MakeX interface has been introduced to RuneScape 3, this isn't possible even when using a single item on a fire. However, there are a few archaic tick methods like this that still exist in the game. You may remember fletching by spam-clicking feathers and dart tips for 5 million XP per hour, only to run out of GP and go back to making maple longbows. Thankfully, fletching no longer works this way and also uses the MakeX interface. But there's an item that released in 2002 with the Sea Slug quest that works the same way darts used to. During the quest, Holger wants you to repair his leaking boat with swamp paste. All you need to do is use a pot of flour on some swamp tar and heat it over a fire. In Classic, this involved a long journey all the way to Lumbridge and back, which was probably like 35 minutes of walking, but nowadays you can buy it straight from the GE and teleport back. But what are we going to do with this 2002 quest item that according to the wiki only has 7 uses, 5 of which I can't even do on my own account anymore? Speedrun the world's fastest fishing trawler game? No, the item is actually completely useless. But what's not useless is its stacking ability. Like runes, coins, and arrows, swamp paste stacks in a single inventory slot. And so does its precursor, raw swamp paste. It's time to do a little bit of fletching. Alright boys, I've got my preset ready to go. Mouse keys absolutely not set up. Let's see how this method is. Oh man, this was definitely a lot easier to do when I was 14. I'm definitely be getting arthritis a few years earlier now. I've done a little bit of thinking, and I'm going to try swapping to the mobile app instead so I can tap with 2 fingers instead of moving my mouse back and forth. Alright, so this is so much better, but you've probably noticed by now the cooking XP is absolutely horrendous. I'm making about 5k raw swamp paste per hour, which is only 5k XP per hour. The cool thing is the raw swamp paste insta-sells for at least 1k GP each. This is a decent moneymaker, at least for botters, I guess. No requirements at all, easily 5 million plus per hour on a brand new account. But why is this seemingly worthless item selling for so much? It can't be just because of collectors. I did some more digging, and it turns out it actually goes back to the item being snackable. In order to turn raw swamp paste into swamp paste for Holger's boat, you need to use it on a fire. This grants 2 cooking XP per raw swamp paste, and you can cook 10k in a single action at level 1 cooking. You heard that right, 20k XP drop at level 1 cooking in a single game tick. If you do that on double XP week, that's an instant 40 cooking levels in a single tick, and you can just keep cooking it if you have a large enough stack, that is. And that's the big downside to this method. Raw swamp paste is very expensive and hard to get in large quantities. While you could theoretically get 99 in an hour with it, it will cost you over 5 billion GP, if you can even get enough. Obviously, this isn't viable for a normal account. I decided to build up a huge quantity of swamp paste on the beta just for fun to show you what the method would look like if you could get enough. It's insanely fast. I bonded a brand new account so I could start from level 1 cooking. I haven't sped this clip up at all. This is stupidly fast. Not as good as the invention method I shared, but you can do this at level 1. I really want people to start making raw swamp paste in bulk so you can see this method in action in the live game. All this being said, the raw swamp paste method is not dead in the water. It's still very viable for speedrunning new accounts up to level 35 cooking, which is when you unlock wines. Similarly to burning food, you can make bad wines early on, but it's still your best affordable cooking method if you want to level up fast. Wines will get you upwards of 1 million XP per hour at max efficiency, but it's still almost 50 GP per XP, which is kind of expensive, and it's not very AFK. You can't get close to this rate until level 82, where you can use an extreme cooking potion to boost to level 99 and make primal desserts. Primal desserts are upwards of almost 900k XP per hour, but again, like swamp paste, it takes a bit to buy up all of the ingredients at a reasonable price. I used to actually cook these for about 60 million GP per hour profit, but people caught on and now it's a loss of around 20 GP per XP. It's still a great in-between method if you can get the supplies. Now, let's say you want to do just regular old cooking. What's the fastest? It's actually not sailfish. From levels 30 to 60, karambwans are the best if you completed the quest for it. They give 190 XP each and don't burn, which is way better than everything else available at that level. Then at level 60, you unlock curry, which stops burning at level 74, but gives 280 XP each, which is 10 XP more than even sailfish. It is the best regular cooking item in the game, assuming you can buy enough uncooked curry on the GE. It cost me 20k each to insta-buy it, at which point it makes more sense to just do wines or normal fish. Curry caps out at around 400k XP per hour unless you use a special trick called 3-tick cooking. Despite the Make X interface in Runescape, it's still possible to do a little bit of tick manipulation while cooking. If you fill your inventory with raw fish and click on a portable, you can use spacebar to start cooking. Most of us just AFK at this point, but if you're after some sweaty XP, you can keep holding down the spacebar. Then, click the portable twice and it will rapidly open the interface and cook another fish every 3 ticks instead of 4. This pushes normal base cooking XP rates up to about 500k XP per hour. But can we push this rate even farther? I decided to test the bait and switch relic along with regular cooking to see how we could do. The bait and switch relic causes you to instantly cook a fish when it's caught for half its normal cooking XP. This is a very efficient way to train a main account, but you'll end up hitting 99 fishing before you get 99 cooking. What's extra interesting about this relic is it relies on your fishing level, not your cooking level. This makes it possible to get cooked fish on Ironmen well before you have the actual level to cook them, and you can get the higher XP rate for it. Sadly, the relic does not cook fish for you in the Fish Ferret Dungeoneering puzzle, but it does cook regular fish that you can fish in Dungeoneering. I set my party complexity to 2, which locks the resources for the floor to woodcutting and fishing, and place cooked fish on my action bar so I can right-click and drop them in a single action. While I complete rush floors, I can harvest fishing spots for some of the fastest fishing and cooking XP out there per time spent actually skilling. It's great if you need to do rush floors, but as a standalone method, it can't compete with regular cooking. Next, it was time to test cook casting on the surface world. Unfortunately, I can't place portable ranges in deep sea fishing, so I had to go to the VIP fishing spot in Menafos. I placed my portables in the middle of the fishing area and then 3-tick cooked and used the 4th tick to fish 1 fish with a high success rate. Basically, I'd hold down the spacebar, click the range, then click the fishing spot after I started to cook, and then I'd click the range again 1 tick later. I did the math, and with 3 ticks sailfish, you expect 90 cooking XP per tick, while the most cooking XP we'll get from fishing in that 1 tick is 82.5 from a beltfish catch. This means the method is less efficient than pure 3-tick cooking, but more efficient if you also need fishing XP. Personally, I'll stick to AFKing Protean Protein.